Buddy, hope you're doing well. I wanted to take a moment to just pop in and check in for a few moments with you as we get ready to wrap up and finish up our Writing 440 summer class. Hard to believe we're already almost at the end of July and finishing up the summer course, but we're getting ready to kind of make a transition into our last major assignment of the semester, which is the white paper. And I'll talk about that here in just a second and how that kind of dovetails back into the literature review assignment that you all just worked on. But one thing I wanted to make an announcement about first is one module that I am removing from the list of modules for the summer class. That is the Writing for Employment module. I know some of you are following pretty closely in the syllabus on the course calendar. That module I am taking out. So we will not do that module this semester or this summer, mainly because some of those issues we've talked about already in some broad terms in the other modules. That module deals mostly with information about making the transition as a technical writer into a technical writer who is looking for employment. And I know some of you have had experience with that already if you've applied for an internship. Or if you are getting ready to apply for a job, or you're getting ready to apply for graduate school after you finish this course this summer, or after you finish your summer classes. Excuse me. I know some of you are kind of in that mode right now, but it just deals with, cover letters, it deals with resumes, it deals with handling rejection if you don't get the job that you applied for, if you're turned down for that reason, how to respond to that and engage with that. So there's a chapter in the textbook that deals with writing for employment. So if you want a little bit more information about that topic, it's located there. But I'm just going to take that module out because I'd rather you all have that time to work on the white paper and getting the white paper put together. So there's probably 40 or 50 points that were tucked into that module, the Writing for Employment module. So at the end of the semester, I will zero those points out, and I will make sure that those points, those missing points, don't hurt anyone's grade. So if we have to scale some things, if we have to make some adjustments with the point totals for you individually, in order for the absence of that module to not hurt you, that's what we will do. So I don't want you to panic or worry or think, oh my gosh, I really needed those 50 points to get to a certain benchmark in terms of my grade for the class. Don't worry about that. I'll make sure that those points don't hurt you by missing those and missing that module. But I just think you guys would be better served to have that time to work on the white paper. So that's my first announcement. Speaking of the white paper, that's what we're going to be working on starting with the module this week. This week, there are two modules. One is Introduction to White Papers, where you'll get a chance to look at and think about and see some examples and sample white papers. If you go online and Google a white paper, you will find that there are many examples out there for public consumption and public view. Some of them are 25, 30, 35, 40 pages. I promise you we are not doing a 25, 35, or 45 page white paper. We're doing a much smaller white paper, a much more truncated white paper. And you'll see all of that with the instructions and everything in the modules this week. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of get some experience and look at what a white paper is, kind of the basic concepts of that. You'll also have a chance to look at some sample student white papers that were done in previous semesters. I made this comment in the module. If you're not a graphic design kind of artsy person, don't let that intimidate you in terms of doing a white paper. You will see a couple of white papers included for you to review where clearly the student had an aptitude for, using Microsoft Publisher or some other kind of software program to make columns and to make newsletter style templates and all of that. You don't have to do that if that's not something that you're comfortable with. I don't want you to feel like you have to do that, but there are ways that you can really add some pizzazz and interest to your white paper by using some of those mechanisms, and you'll see that in the samples that you look at. But I wanted to make you aware of that, first of all. Secondly, most of the content that you have used from the literature review is going to funnel right into the white paper. So those 5 sources that you collected, those 5 sources that you reviewed for the literature review assignment, that information is going to dovetail right into the white paper. I think most of you will find, based on your topic and based on the literature reviews that I've read already, many of you are going to have to kind of scale back a little bit. You're going to have a lot more that you'd like to say about your topic based on those sources and a lot less room to say it. Which is okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay if you get frustrated in that part of the process. It's always better to have more information than you need than to have less information and try to fill in the gaps that way. So many of you will find that as you start working on the white paper, that you've got much more source material than maybe you need for the assignment. And that's a good thing. We've really done, honestly, the hardest part of the white paper assignment is what we did last week and the last couple of weeks with the literature review. Anytime you're doing any kind of a research project, the collecting of sources, reading sources, and kind of analyzing or looking at the source holistically in terms of what's working and what's not working and what you liked and what you didn't like as a reader, that's a huge part of any kind of research project. And I know some of you haven't done a lot of research projects, maybe since writing 101 or writing 102. So this is sort of kind of getting back into the saddle or putting on an uncomfortable shoe for the first time in a long time. But you will see as you start working on the white paper that having done all of that work, all that time-consuming work on the literature review will work and will make this white paper process a lot easier. So in terms of the literature reviews, I'm going to start working on those this weekend. So you'll be seeing those grades and comments come back to you. I want to get those graded and commented on as soon as possible so that you'll have that information to then start working on the white paper. If you did not hear from me, this week, you can assume that your literature review and your topics and all of that did not have any major problems. I reached out to people individually that I felt like maybe needed a little bit more narrow focus or maybe were a little off target with the literature review so that you'd have a chance to make the corrections and the revisions to that before the final draft was due. If you did not hear from me, you're in good shape and you can assume that what you turned in will be fine. So I will get those graded and back to you as soon as possible. As we get into the white paper assignment, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I've talked to a couple of you already about the assignment, but I'm happy to talk on email. I'm happy to have a phone call, happy to do a Zoom chat like I'm doing here about the white paper. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or concerns. I'm happy to look at outlines, partial drafts, full drafts, whatever you want to submit. I'm so happy to do that and give you some feedback if you'd like, or have a conversation with you in some way, shape, or form over what you've done so far to just kind of know if you're heading down the right road or on the right track or down the right path. I'm happy to talk with you about it or to help in any way. So just feel free to reach out and let me know if you need any help with the white paper assignment. So I just want to say again, thanks for all the good work that you've done this summer. I know many of you were taking other summer classes, or you had a summer class that started in the first session, and now you've got one that started this session, and you're doing this 10-week session, and some of you are doing your internships and doing all kinds of other things this summer. So I appreciate the good work. I know many of you are busy, and I appreciate the time and the effort that you put into your assignments. And I think all of that work that you've put into the course so far, including the literature review, when you sit down to write the white paper, it's going to come together very seamlessly for you. But I'm here to help if you have any questions or concerns about the white paper assignment. And again, be on the lookout for those literature reviews this weekend. I'm going to get those read. I've started reading them already. And so I'll get those comments and feedback to you as soon as possible. So that's where we are. That's kind of this week's check-in. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns about anything. Thanks a lot.